We were just talking about Lollapalooza that just got announced today.
Yes. Yeah.
So that's
Jolaluza.
exciting.
Like, wait, how do we pronounce it?
Joe Palooza.
Joe Palooza.
Oh, goodness.
Perfect.
I literally woke up at like 5 a.m. and I checked my phone and it had just come out and I was like, oh my God. I was like, I can't go back to sleep now. It was crazy.
Oh, no.
Did you have a hunch that was what was going to come down the
Yeah,
line?
I had a feeling because after Coachella being announced, I was like, oh, he's probably going to do a bunch of festivals. And considering he came to Australia and New Zealand, I was like, he may as well go all out and just sign up for all of them, you know? Like, I had a bit of an inkling. I would have been surprised if he wasn't on the lineup.
Yeah, same.
Yeah.
Especially because we talked about like people were like, oh, he's not going to Chicago. And Stacey, you said that like there's like rules about playing in the area. Like if you're doing Lollapalooza, you can't play any Chicago shows within like a certain time frame or something like that.
That's interesting. Yeah, I mean, he may as well just go out for it and do the festival. It's like a full circle moment for him.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly.
But yeah, I guess it's just kind of like now. What more is he gonna do? What's left?
Right. Exactly.
He's gonna go to the moon.
I mean, like Glastonbury, that was incredible.
Oh, that
like,
was crazy. like his dream festival, literally a year to the date, he was like, oh, I would love to play this, and then he got announced. I'm like, this dude's manifesting for real. Like,
yeah.
like give me some of that magic. Like, I need that kind of power.
Yeah, it's a little freaky. But I wanted to ask because, like, you mentioned, he did Lollapalooza in 22, and, it's a full circle moment and stuff. But I think a lot of people, we've noticed just by watching footage of his past performances at smaller venues, he's getting more confident. Clearly, the vocal range and the strength are off the charts. It's apples and oranges. As somebody who's seen him live, can you, like, kind of talk about what it's like seeing him as a performer?
Oh my God, it was just like incredible. It's almost like I'm speechless to explain it, but he is so confident. I truly think he's at his happiest when he's performing on stage with his friends. You can tell how much he's worked on training his voice and just like, everything he puts into it, you can tell on stage. And it's honestly just like such an emotional moment, just like seeing him so happy. It embodies him. He's having such a good time. He loves to like play around with like ad libs during songs, and like it's so fun, and like genuinely I think this is what he wants to do like forever. And it's just really, I'm repeating myself, but like it's unbelievable because you see him like acting and you're watching him on TV and all that, and so seeing him on stage is like an entirely different persona, but it's still him. And you can just tell that he's wanted to do this for so long, and now he has the chance. So he's just like living his best life, really, and getting to do it with all his friends. It's really cool. You guys are just going to be like, your jaws are just going to be like dropped, and it's literally it's gonna be crazy. He's just like, he's a great performer, actually. Just like, he has little dance moves and he like rolls with it, like he's a little goofy.
Yeah, it just seems like he's really just being himself.
Yeah.
Like, so it's so authentic and it's so him, and it's like having a blast doing it.
Yeah,
so.
it's so cool to see. And I guess it's like probably really good for him to have his friends performing with him. So like it probably helps ease his anxieties and like, any stage fright or that sort of thing. So it's really cool to see him being comfortable up there. But yeah, you guys are I love it. You guys are just gonna love it. It's gonna be so good.
Yeah, so you had a good time at Laneway.
Yes, I did. Safe to say I did have a very good time. His set was quite short, but that is a festival. You got to make room for everyone. Yeah, it was still really fun to see him in a festival setting.
What was your favorite song that you got to see him perform live?
I mean, End of Beginning was like powerful. It was really, because like when he played Laneway New Zealand, that was like the first international performance and performance he has done since like Well, not counting the New York one, but like that was really like monumental, and I was a mess. I was a mess. I was like, oh my God. But honestly, I think playing Figure You Out was really good. That was really good live. Isn't that your favorite song?
That is my favorite song. So as soon as I saw him sit down at the keyboard, I went, wait a second, wait. And I just think it's the perfect slowdown song. Yeah. And it really shows his vocal strength, I think.
It is, it's like absolutely phenomenal live. And like, it's also the song that I realized how much the other band, people in the band support him, and how much like Adam does, like with backing vocals. And it's like you can really hear everyone. And yeah, it's a really cool like moment. Actually, the whole performances, you kind of get to see like the amount of work each band member puts into to support like Joe's vocals as a whole. And I think that's really cool. But Figure You Out was really cool because he hadn't played that live. And so he was like, oh, like I haven't played this one before. And I was like, oh. And then, yeah, like the keys started and I was like, oh my God, I'm pretty sure in my video, I'm like, it's Figure You Out. And it's like, it's so embarrassing, but yeah, it was really good, and it's a really powerful song to sing like lyrically, like that end part when he's like, if the money just wasn't there, and it's like he's belting. It's so good.
Chills.
No, it's crazy.
Yeah,
that's gonna be a good one. It'll be interesting to see what else he puts on the set list, because it's kind of hard to imagine what the new sound is gonna be. And then it's the same with Gaptooth Smile. Like what's the studio version sounding like?
Yes,
yeah,
we're super excited for that.
Yeah,
for sure.
I'm intrigued by it. I'm very intrigued. Yeah, I've kind of like heard it so much live. I'm like, oh, I actually think I want to hear the studio version and how acoustic it sounds as the track, or if they're making it acoustic for a live performance.
Right.
Yeah.
Because it seems like they're just playing a very like simple version of it, but he could have done anything with it.
Yeah.
On the studio version.
It could be like all synthy and like what we already have
all these little effects and gags.
So that's exciting. But yeah, he's really living his best life. It's so cool to see, because he's just wanted to do it for so long, and now he has the time. I hope
well deserved.
I know, like after everything,
and just the opportunities that like end up beginning blowing up the way it did has brought him like.
Only this would happen to Joe Keery. He makes an album that's kind of almost anti-social media.
Right.
And social media is what makes it go viral. And he's like,
he's like, guess I have to tune back in now, because like how else am I going to follow like the charts and all that? Yeah, it is kind of ironic, but like it kind of meant to happen that way, I feel. Like
exactly.
That was crazy. I like can't believe that happened. Like it feels so long ago, yet it was only just a year ago that it started to like really pick up.
Yeah. It was wild to like, we had started this podcast and we had talked about Steve, obviously. We had talked about Joe Keery. We were like, oh, we love his music. We had Kelly on.
Yeah.
And then like the next week, like it
went
just
viral.
blew up. Like I was like, this is just so crazy. And then
we're like, we'd love for him to tour one day. We'd love for him to maybe do a show.
I know.
Maybe.
And look at us now. Like full on tour.
Look at us.
Look at us.
I know.
Like that's crazy.
It's been a wild ride for sure.
Like
it's been
straight
so cool
up
to like follow it.
We've been like used to not getting content. And like, I don't know if you guys were around when Decide dropped, but like when the singles dropped, there was no promotion like whatsoever. You would just like wake up and like Figure You Out dropped. And so now to have all of this promo and like something to look forward to, because we're getting new photos, new radio interviews, it feels like so different. It's like almost overwhelming, but in the best way.
Yeah. No, you'll see kind of how we felt when Laneway was happening
Right.
because like
Yeah.
with the time change, like it was like I'm not sleeping. Like
I know. I know.
but it was worth it and it was so much fun.
I had
was
some
like,
people messaging me being like, "Oh, like have a good time at the show." I think it might have been you, Megan, and I was like, it actually just finished." Like, you're like an hour late. It's just finished. But yeah, like everyone that was updating, like you guys and the other Joe Carey accounts, I really felt for you guys with the time zone change because, yeah, like we're a whole day
It was
a bit
fun.
ahead. You say through tears.
Yeah.
And you're like, it's fine. Like, it's fine. It's like,
It's fine.
yeah. No, it was cool. But yeah, no, I was trying to update people, but I was like, you know what? I was like, it's a bit special. I want to post a little snippet and then like, you know, that's all I'm going to do. But there were so many other people like posting their photos and stuff. And like the girls from Australia were posting all of theirs on Twitter. So like we were getting fed. Like there's some good stuff out there. And it's really good that, you know, and Laneway caught some really cool footage as well. So
They did.
yeah,
Yeah.
I expect the same for the other American festivals and the international ones that I forget that are happening as well. I'm like, yeah, he's going to Europe. Like, that's crazy to me.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, it's not just an
Yeah.
American tour. He's jetting off to like Germany and stuff.
Right. It really is like
International.
a world tour.
I know.
Which
Yep.
we were like, no, he won't do a world tour.
Right?
He's doing a world tour.
Like, we
Yeah.
thought he was going to do shows like here and there, but I guess he was like, nope, like Stranger Things is finished. I'm just going to like full send it and just do it.
Yeah.
Which,
yeah.
good for him. Like,
Exactly.
he more than deserves it.
He's not a one-trick pony, you know. He's a triple threat, you know.
Oh,
and
yeah.
when we met him at the con, like he was literally the nicest, most
I
down
know.
to
She was
earth
there.
I
guy.
was
You were
there.
right?
I was literally there.
Yeah.
So you know, so like, see, if you know, you know, because
I
like
know.
we can say till the cows come home, he was seriously the nicest guy ever, and people are like, I'm sure, and we're like, no,
You don't
really.
understand.
How was your experience
it
meeting
was-
him? Can you tell me about your
Yes, I will
experience?
gladly. Oh, it was so cool. I had already planned a trip to America during those dates, and then the con got announced, and I was like, okay. I was
Ooh.
like,
That gave me chills.
yeah,
Yeah,
I was
that's
like,
so
it's
cool.
kind of meant to be. And so I only went to one day because like I went to the Saturday because like the priority was literally just to meet Joe. And I was like, you know what? I don't know when I'm going to get this opportunity again. And Laneway got announced like the day I landed in New York as well. I was
You're like,
no,
son of a bitch.
no, I was literally like going through TSA and I'm like, I got to get my ticket. And I got it, thankfully. But I was like, that's way too much money. And then, yeah, so the con, it was so fun. I got, I had one autograph and I had 2 photos.
Nice.
But then I spontaneously bought another photo because I was like,
Good
yeah,
girl.
I was like, you know what? I want more time. I was like, I'm not ready to leave yet.
Mhm.
I had my first photo and he was just like so lovely, and like I showed him my like little 8-ball tattoo because it's like based around Decide, and he like
I love that.
kind of went to like grab my arm to look at it, and he was like, oh my god, and then I was pushed away. They were like, oh come on, like next
Right.
person, and I was like, I'll talk to you in the autograph.
Give me
Yeah.
a minute.
I was like, I'm coming back to the autograph. And he was like, yeah, okay. And I was just like, I didn't even say my name. I didn't even ask how he was. I was like, shit, that was so rude. I just like threw my arm in his face. Like, I was throwing limbs at him. He was probably like, what am
I
I
love it.
doing? And then I went back for the autograph and he was like, oh my God, yeah. And he was like, I was like, do you want to like see it again? And he was like, yes, yes. Oh my God. And he was so like grateful, and literally he was boasting about new music. I think he was boasting about that with everyone. Like he was so excited.
Yeah.
He was like, yeah, like we're so excited to come for Laneway, like, you know, maybe new stuff. And I was like, pardon me? I was like, you're going to do what? I was like, huh? And he was like, yeah, maybe new stuff at Laneway. And I was like, you can't tell me too much. I was like, I'm going to be overthinking this. Like, keep your word.
What does that mean?
Yeah, I was like, keep your word. But
he did.
He did. Like,
and then some.
We got, like, we got basic being basic, and we got Captive Smile. So, like, I am fine.
The fact that he's been littering, like, little hints to his fans, because at that German Comic-Con, someone said, how would you sum up your next album? And he went, basic. And I'm like, you little snake in the grass. We
literally.
See you. And he literally said that.
Yeah. Actually, that's crazy to think about, like, some of the things that he's said in the past, like, year. And I'm like, oh my God, he's been shoving it in our faces this entire time. Like, and we've just been like, like, I wonder what this means. And it's like, no, it was literally right there. Like, and then what else did I say? God, I had some bracelets to give him.
Oh, I love
that.
And
he was like, oh, thank you so much. He was just like so kind. I got him to sign the photo of him in Marmalade and drag.
Hero, you're my hero.
So I was like, oh, are you okay with signing this? And he was like, yeah, it's kind of funny. I don't really care though. Like, yeah, I'll sign it. And I was like, okay. He was like, yeah, it's probably not my best look. And I was like, no, you look great.
Oh, no, you're beautiful.
I was like, stunning. Like, and he just like kind of giggled. But yeah, and then I was like, oh, your album got me through, like Decide got me through a breakup. And he was like, yeah, I know what that means to have like an album get you through something like that. Because I have a piece of music like that I would listen to. And I was like, did we just bond over breakups? I was like, that's...
Yeah.
I was like, come here. No. So, yeah, that was really cool. He's just so kind, and, like, he really pays attention to what you're saying, and, like, just, like, the most genuine guy I've literally ever met. And I would spend that amount of money again. I would do it over, like, 100%. He was so fun. And then, I went in for the last 2 photos, and he was like, what pose do you want to do? And I was like, I don't know. What do you want to do? And he was like, I don't know. What do you want to do? And I was like, and we did like a little like hand heart thing.
Oh,
cute.
And then I had no idea what to do for the second one. And I was like, oh, why don't we just like turn to the side and like gaze lovingly in each other's eyes? And we started laughing.
I love that.
And when I tell you, he committed to the bit. Like, he was looking at me like I was like a princess in like some movie where it's like
that's what it was like.
Like, he's the knight in shining armor coming to rescue me from a tower, and he's like, oh my God, my love. And I literally mid photo I was like laughing. I was like it was like anxiety, but like he was acting, and I was like, okay, good.
Yeah.
Got my money's worth.
Anybody
did.
with a pulse, I think, fell in love with him.
Oh,
like, everyone was charmed. Everyone.
Charm off the scale. He's just like, he's such like a people's people. He's a people's princess. Like,
he is. He is.
Like, he is
for sure.
He's just such a generous guy, and like he cares about his fans. He cares about people. He wants to make like connections with people, and yeah, you can tell he comes from like a good family and like really good woman behind him, because it just shows in his nature. And yeah, every experience I've heard is just like everyone just gushes about how awesome he is. And it's just like so cool.
You can tell like in all of the interviews that he does, like every single person that interviews him just like loves him so much. And like the chemistry that he's able to have with like pretty much anyone is just like wild.
And that's like a talent in itself. Like, for his line of work and doing press all the time and being in the public eye, to be like that loving every single time you're doing something, like, you're just
humble, you know.
Like,
and I tell everybody, I'm like, the reason why, you know, his character on Stranger Things became so beloved is because of him. He's what sold the character to continue going
Yeah.
on. He charmed his way to get into another season.
I know,
so
like-
seeing him on stage, like whenever like you see the reaction of everybody singing along to the beginning, and he just looks so floored and
yeah.
like just so amazed. You're like, you get him, Joe.
No,
get him.
it
like,
is
oh.
seriously like that. And every performance I saw of his, like, essentially all of the shows that I went to, there was like a day or two in between each show. So it was like every second day I was like seeing Joe, which was ridiculous. It felt like a dream. But like at every show, like during End of Beginning, like that was the moment that he was just like in awe with everything. And like the video of that Triple J posted of End of Beginning in Sydney, like it really was like that. It was so powerful, and the crowd was huge, and everyone like knew the lines and like the entire song, not just the chorus. And I was like, oh my God, I'm in that crowd. Like I'm there. It was truly amazing. And yeah, just to see it, just to see him in a different light rather than like his acting is so cool, but he still like stays the same guy, which is cool. Like it's just like regular old Joe, and I think that's really important. And he makes that very apparent, like in Basic Being Basic, how he's like, I don't want money, I don't want fame. Like he's just a regular guy, and if you treat him, if you be appreciative and treat him like that, he's going to be so kind to you back. And that convention was really cool. I'm really glad that he had a good time there, and he met so many like cool fans. Like you guys were like hanging out with him like the entire weekend, like.
Basically.
Yeah, like you had like you guys had the meet and greet, right?
We did
the
the
ice cream
the ice cream social
on Saturday.
Yeah, I couldn't remember who got who and or who got what.
Yeah, we lucked out because then the meet and greets just like went even faster.
Oh, I know.
So
I was trying, but I was at work trying to do it like on my phone. But that's why I bought the extra photo at the con, because I was like, you know what, it's worth it.
Yeah, you're there.
Yeah, well, exactly. But yeah, no, that it looked so fun. It was so cool to be like in Jackson. Like it's just crazy.
That was so cool.
I really hope he does more like conventions in the future every now and then, because like that connection is always cool. To like meet his acting side and get to talk about it, whereas like if you meet him at a show, you know, it's more likely you're going to talk about his music, not like what he's been in. I feel like that's kind of more of a respectful thing to do, you know?
Yeah, no, for sure. And it was like not a lot of people, I brought this up, but like not a lot of people talked about music at the meet and greet. But what I said was like, he was with Maya. We were literally in Jackson. The focus was Stranger Things, and like that made sense that the majority of the questions were about Stranger Things. I think a couple of the meet and greets, like people asked more questions about the music, but it was like,
I did like seeing people with his like vinyls and stuff going to get them signed, because I'm like, you know, he's lighting up like a Christmas tree, that you're bringing something music related, you know?
Yeah. And I, like an idiot, asked him about Pavements. So
there goes my hero.
Oh my goodness, Pavements. What did you ask?
I just like asked him what it was like filming that, because I saw it at the New York Film Festival, and I just wanted to tell him, like I said this as I was leaving the movie, I was like, every single time he was on the screen, like it got the biggest reaction from the audience.
That makes me
like,
so happy.
And I just, like it's like a very interesting movie, and it's like super hard to describe.
So
and,
I've
like,
heard.
But like,
that's like all I'm hearing.
And he was like, it was confusing and a little stressful.
Yeah, I bet.
I was like, okay, that makes sense. But just because it is just like a confusing project, but it's very cool. And like like I said, his performance like got the most reaction out of the whole audience.
That's so
it was like cool to be able to tell him that.
Yeah.
But yeah.
That's cool. And it kind of includes music. So it's like you did both. Like, you know.
Yeah.
So that counts.
The filmmaker I don't know if you follow him, Alex Ross Perry, but he like posted a couple things of like Joe in that green shirt and then a picture of like Stephen Malcolmus in the green shirt. I was like, oh.
Yeah.
It was like he hasn't been able to leave that role.
That's so funny. Oh my goodness.
But yeah, I'm sure he did have kind of like some sort of connection to that role because it was so like music oriented.
It would be so cool to see him in like music films like that. Like he would do so well, and you know, it's not like it's out of his realm. Like it's not like he would be dubbing over someone else's voice because he can do it himself. So I'm really excited. Pavements has been described to me as just something. It's like a couple people have said like it's not what you expect, and I'm like, well,
no.
Given the promo that they've been giving, I'm thoroughly confused, but like here for it.
Yeah.
Just that's so fun. But no, a lot of people, almost everyone that I interacted with at the con, like was talking to Joe about his music.
Nice.
So that's really cool. But
that's good.
Yeah. I think he was surprised with the amount of people that were bringing like vinyls and, you know, like music stuff for him to sign. Like, although I got the Marmalade photo signed, all I talked about was his music because that's what's most important to me. And I was like, no, I need to tell him this. But yeah, like my friend got her D-sides signed, and that was the first time he'd seen it in person. Yeah, I hope she doesn't mind me talking about this. I love you, Anna. And she said that he took a photo, like brought his phone out and took a photo of it and like sent it to Jake and was like,
that's so cool.
Look at the photos.
Yeah.
That's
and
awesome.
He was like talking to Anna and was like, oh yeah, like my friend Jake. And she's like, yeah, Jake from Post Animal. We know Jake.
I'm aware of Jake.
Like we love Jake. And yeah, so I think that's pretty cool that he got to have that moment like for himself as well. But yeah, no, it was cool. I think it'll be really cool seeing after all of these performances like what a convention or something would look like now, because you know it's like people will have more things to sign, more things to like give him, I guess, that relate to shows or whatever. So I think that's really cool.
Yeah, he'll be able to like connect with people even more about the music, so that would be really cool.
Yeah, I mean, he might even recognize people. Like some people went to all of the shows. I went to a few of them where I was like almost barricaded every single time, and like the eye contact was crazy. Wow. Like he was
even from on stage.
Yeah. No, like he was like he interacts with everyone, and I think that's so cool. It makes it like really personable for everyone.
Yeah. And that just shows like he's making that effort to make that connection, even like with a crowd of hundreds, thousands of people. Like so that's wild.
And even he was like pointing to people at the back that he could see, and like people that were on each other's like shoulders, and like everyone got a piece. Like everyone got their own moment. So it was fun. Yeah. It was really cool. But yeah, that convention was just one for the books, really. Like that was really special, I think.
Yeah.
And then a couple of days later, he was in LA doing the shoot for the album.
Right. Which
you're right.
He had a plane to catch after the meet and greet on Sunday, so that's what he was catching a plane for. Like
he had to hang his ass out a window.
Yeah, he's like, I actually got to go jump out of a window today. Like, yeah, no big deal though. I was like, that is crazy to think about, because he was yapping to everyone. He was like, yeah, like we're doing some more stuff for the album, like in a couple of days, and I was like, he just wants to talk to everyone about everything.
Yeah.
Let him.
Yeah.
The staff should have let him. Like,
they were doing their best for more time. For sure.
They were doing really well.
Yeah.
He loves to talk, and we shall let him.
Yes. It's so fun.
Exactly.
And it's been really fun to be able to talk to you about all of this. So we appreciate it.
Yeah. Of course.
But I guess maybe we'll like transition to talking about a couple of the songs, if that's okay. So
yes, let's do it.
if you haven't figured it out already, you've been listening for this long. We are back with another episode.
This was our longest intro ever, and we love it.
And
I'm so like Joe.
Yeah.
I just keep talking. I'm like,
we are
Best.
recording these Joe mini episodes, and just to kind of talk about the music, the tour, the upcoming album, and we are super excited. We haven't even introduced you yet. Like, that's where
oh
we're
my
at
God,
here.
it's fine.
Yeah.
So we're here with Ava. We are super excited. As you have already heard, she was at the Laneway, a bunch of the Laneway shows, which is so cool that you were able to see him live already, and just gets us even more excited to get our turn. So it's
Yes.
coming pretty soon.
Really soon.
And yeah,
Like-
we have a couple of really fun songs to talk about with you today. So we're gonna stop and then listen to half of our first song, and then we'll come back and talk about it.
Yeah, sounds good.
Okay, so we're talking about Change, which is from the album Decide, and it was one of the singles that was released before the album came out. And we love it so much.
It's so it's
So
such a
good.
fun, like, upbeat, almost nostalgic sounding song. Like,
Yeah.
it's so good.
There's a lot of lyrics in this song.
Yeah.
Because not all of his songs have like this many lyrics, I feel like.
Yeah.
Because a lot of them
He
are a
had a
little
lot to say.
repetitive. Yes. Like, it's a lot of words.
He did.
here.
Yeah, like he came out and was like, boom, lay it down. Yeah, I think that's why it's like my favorite, because there's like a lot there, and it adds like more kind of like substance
Yeah.
and more meaning to me personally, when there's, you know, lots of words to connect and relate to.
Yeah. And I feel like I usually am so into listening to the sounds and the music and the beats and stuff. And I feel like I was so focused just now when we were listening to the words that I'm like, wait, how did
I
it
was
even
reading them
sound?
too.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, it
a-
is one of those songs.
And he talks about how like he kind of treats it like a journal when he's writing songs, and this I feel like is just like a journal entry, like,
Yeah.
and it kind of, I love it when his lyrics are like super specific, because it's like, you know, that he has like this moment that he was actually writing about, but it's so interesting how they can even being that specific, they can still apply to like other people.
And
So
that's good music.
Yeah.
Like, you can write about a situation that's personable to you, but then you write it in such a way that everyone can relate to it. Like,
yeah,
the whole topic of like change is very universal. And, you know, he's writing about a specific thing, but then you can find your life amongst the lyrics, and you're like, oh yeah, that reminds me of this thing.
right,
And that's just good music.
exactly.
Like,
Wasn't there a lyric that we just heard right before you shut it off? It was like, the man
Yeah.
that I could
Yeah.
be. Kind of like, this is who I think I should be. This is how I should act,
Yeah.
almost.
it's like that whole change thing, you know, like sometimes change is good, sometimes it's bad, but generally you have to do it because life is full of change.
Yeah,
And it's going to be hard, but that's why I like the song, because it's like really deep lyrics, but it's like boppy, and like you're like, oh yeah, this is fun. Like
Yeah.
I'll dance to it, even though like it reminds me of like a sad moment,
yeah,
which is a lot of his songs actually. If you like really listen to the lyrics,
yes,
and then
Yeah.
the sound is like, oh, synthy. It's all
Right.
fun.
right. They're
I'm
so
like, yeah.
upbeat and happy sounding,
Yeah.
but then when you listen to the lyrics, it's like, oh, this cuts a little deep here. Like,
Yeah, like,
Yeah.
ooh, I feel
Actually,
seen.
I
Like,
didn't.
man.
When you mentioned that this song has a lot of lyrics, I don't think I really realized that until now that we're talking about it.
Yeah.
Like, it is a very wordy song.
Yeah. So in a conversation, but my mind is out the back door, watching this unfold, like I am floating right above it, which I feel like I've definitely like been there
That is
before.
100%.
literally anxiety.
Yeah.
That's just like literally when you
Yeah.
have anxiety and you dissociate, that is literally like the perspective that you feel.
Yeah.
You
yeah.
are like watching everything,
Yeah.
but you are not in your body and you're just like, oh,
Right.
this feels very strange.
He describes that experience that like a lot of us have had in such like beautiful words
I
that
know.
like paint the picture. But
Yeah.
then the next lyric is like one of my favorites that he has because Jake, we were just talking about Jake. Jake
Yeah, Jake.
Yep.
is on his phone, and I'll admit that I don't love it, which we have to like talk about the video. Like, so what was the username that he had when he
Uncle
was
Jesse.
Uncle Jesse? So
Cannot
back
stand
in
it.
the Uncle Jesse days, there was this video of him recording Jake on his phone.
They were in a grocery store, like
Yeah.
getting groceries or something.
And Joe's just being like a menace, and like Jake is ignoring him. But I think it was sort of for the bit, but like you can't really tell.
I mean, Jake looked like he was like he needed to be on that phone. Like he was
Right.
literally like having a conversation, and Joe's like, "Yeah, well, Jake is on the phone, and yeah, he's not really saying anything because he can't hear me. He's on the phone." And it just like keeps panning to like Joe's face this close, and then like Jake being like, "Yeah, like," and I'm like,
And he's like, we're
That's-
best friends though, but he's on his phone.
Right, Joe, like we know Jake. We know Jake from your social media. We know Jake from this song.
I know. I wonder how Jake felt hearing that. He was probably like, was it that one time? When there was
Right.
that one video?
Which is
Maybe.
is funny because like now he's literally like writing about Charlie in his songs, like
I know.
which is so sweet that he just like, these people in his life like are a part of those moments. So he's just like
yeah.
putting their names in there because that's who he's thinking of in that moment. So that's
Yeah.
interesting.
It's different. Change is like a monumental like song because again, yeah, he's talking about Jake, and it's kind of like I think I get the perspective that it's like he had just moved to LA.
That's what I
and
was thinking
that's-
too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so he was like saying like I just said when my friends would like move here that I would interact more. So it's like that whole thing of like he doesn't want people to be stuck on their phone if
Right.
they moved out there for him or anything like that.
Well, and I think
just-
that's kind of for me, that makes me think of how it can be kind of difficult when you're not physically around people to like stay in touch with them. But like,
yeah.
and when you're like gone from people that have been in your life, like that is a big change. But like, it is possible to stay in touch with people when they're not living close to you, but it's a lot harder. So the next line, who am I to judge? I just detach. That might be harder. Harder not to tell you, man, what's really going on. So I don't know.
Just like it's like him saying it's just easier to not say anything at all.
Right.
And like sometimes I get that. Like sometimes when something happens, it's just easier to not explain what happened to people because it's like either so overcomplicated or it's just like they're not going to understand.
Yeah.
No matter how much I explain something. But that also makes me really sad because it's like, oh man, Joe, they're your
Right.
buddies. You can talk to them. But like, that is kind of like what the song is about though. It's like accepting that change. And whether that is telling someone something or not, you have to be the one to make that decision. And that is very hard.
Yeah.
But yeah, that lyric is like really sad when you read it without like music behind
I know.
I'm like, oh.
When you read his songs, the lyrics to his songs without like any music behind it, they're
Very raw.
yeah.
Yeah,
There's so much emotion.
Yeah. Yeah, that's like got me thinking. I'm like, ooh. I mean, apart from like Gap Tooth Smile, that's like a fun song. But like even when you're reading like Basic Being Basic, that's like pretty intense. Especially
Yeah.
that it's like spoken.
Yeah. Yep. It's very talky. That's what I was like describing it to my friends. Like I'm like, yeah, it's a really talky song.
It's yeah.
I'm
It's good.
excited to see the lyrics to Gap Tooth Smile though, because we talked about that one with one of our friends, Jill, on the show, and there's like a part that like we're not really like sold on. Like people have tried to figure out what the lyric is, but like I'm not exactly sure what it is yet. And there's like something about like leaving, and we were like this is his like ultimate fantasy, but it's like
right.
but it's like it's not gonna last forever. And the person's gonna leave, so it's like
Oh,
it's
Jesus.
still a little sad. I know.
Because like the way he described that song is like it's about like being in love, but it's not about him being in love.
Right.
Like it's just about love, like the
In
fantasy
general.
of love.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, but there
So
is the line
hearing
where
you
it's
say
like
that,
yeah.
yeah. Oh,
Damn.
but then yeah, and that kind of is sad because when you do think about love, like love comes and goes.
Yeah.
So like I get it, but it's like he's so fun when he's like singing and dancing to that song.
And I like that he's like not almost like everybody knows what Chateau is about, and I like that now he's like, I'm dedicating this to all the couples out there. That's what this is, a love song.
Yeah,
I wrote
that's
when I
so
was in love, so
cute.
it's for you guys now. And I'm like,
I know.
goddamn angel.
I know. He's just. He said something really sad during Chateau in Laneway, New Zealand. He was like, "Yeah, well, nothing lasts forever, though." And I remember being like, "Oh, I just got like shot in the heart." I was like, arrow just went like pew. I literally was like, "This is not okay." I was like, "What do you mean?"
Yeah.
But can you just? I was like, "Fuck."
Damn.
Don't make it worse.
I'm like, shit,
Thank God,
man. Like,
thank God he wasn't in an emo band. Could you imagine?
Oh gosh.
oh god. It's like reading his lyrics without the music literally sound emo as hell.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
That's the
And I'm
end of the end of Runner. Why try? It's like a screamo.
Oh.
man.
And then it like leads into Gloom and it's like fucking
I'm ready to
intense,
go.
like,
Yeah.
Exactly.
He was seeing some stuff in that too. So
Right. Honestly, he was having fun playing that live. That's for sure.
Yeah.
what does this song like? What's the next song that comes after this one?
On the album.
Do you guys remember? Because that like drum beat, like echoing, that boom boom boom, like I can't reenact it because I suck, but like they do it as the outro and it like perfectly like segues into the next song, and I'm like,
I know what you're
Guys,
talking about.
knitted this together like a quilt.
Change goes into it goes into is that all it takes, which is that little interlude.
Oh, okay,
And,
yep.
And
Gotcha.
then
And then
is
go
that all
for
it
it.
takes goes, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
I would really love to see Go For It live.
Oh my gosh, I would. That's like
Big
one of
time.
my favorites. I said that. Like I would
Like,
love
that
to
would-
see that.
The instrumental part would go so hard live.
Yeah.
Like, insane.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's really cool. I hope in the new album he has songs that follow on from each other like that. Because
Yeah.
sometimes you forget the little instrumental parts.
Yeah, it almost
Mhm.
feels like it's a story he's basically telling. So this is like an opera. So you're going into
Yeah.
one chapter to the next to the next. So
Yeah. Yeah, I so forgot that Change led into Is That All It Takes? And then Go For It. Whoa, that's like deep.
right.
I know.
Right?
That's deep.
Like
'cause,
that's where the
is that all it
change
takes?
happens.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, is that all it takes? And then he's like, well, I just gotta go for it.
Yep.
Whoa. That's
Way
quite
to
the
go, Joe.
lineup. His
Right?
brain's so good. Like,
Right. Shall we listen to the second half?
yes.
So I have to ask, what's DL 909? That's
Okay.
the first time I noticed that.
I was about to kind of ask the same thing, but is it like a location?
So
Is it like coordinates?
I think I know what it is. So I looked up the lyrics today. I like have never prepared this much for our episodes. Usually
Good
I'm
girl.
like, oh, like I didn't even know that was the lyric, but it was funny because I'm like, is that the lyric? Like, what does that mean? And so I Googled that, and there was like some Reddit threads about like people's favorite Joe lyric, which was a fun read. But and nobody specifically said that this is what it was, but I'm 97% positive that it's Delta Flight 909 because it's like at altitude.
That makes
So-
sense, actually. Yeah.
But right now,
happened on that
Delta Flight
flight?
909 is a red-eye flight from LAX to Indianapolis.
Got you.
Oh my god.
Yeah, I don't know why he would be flying to Indy,
I thought you were going to say like Atlanta or something, but so
Right,
when you said that,
maybe-
there was a bit of a
but it could
letdown. I
have
was
been
like,
like a layover there. I don't know.
Yeah.
Like so.
I thought it was like coordinates or a phone, like the area code, but I was like, I don't think 909 is an area code in America.
Yeah.
So I was like,
The altitude
I'm just-
thing makes it, I think, pretty sure that it's like a flight number.
yeah,
that's so interesting.
interesting.
Yeah.
Hmm.
And I didn't know the whole for a minute in the sunlight at the mention of the conflict. Like I didn't know what that was. Like that's the first time I've like
Yeah.
realized what those lyrics were. You can hear when the jacket doesn't fit right. Like that's like a very clear line.
That was awesome.
And I
Yeah.
like love
Well,
that
yes.
line too because it's like,
Yeah.
yeah, you're gonna change when your jacket doesn't fit right.
Yeah.
That is true. Yeah.
That's very, yes.
Yeah.
We do be changing clothes, like,
You be changing. Yep. Which
mhm.
I do love the last lyric though. Like, in your eyes, I'm the man that I could be. Is that what it is?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So pretty.
That's like
I
the little
know,
chorus.
it's-
It's very pretty.
Yeah, because like when you think about that lyric, it's like you don't want to change yourself for another person, but you can, they can bring change out in you if it's needed, like whether that be with like struggles or anything. But yeah, it's kind of like looking at someone and go like, oh yeah, like I could see a life with them in their eyes,
Mhm.
and that's kind of sweet.
Yeah.
Sometimes it does take a person to help you make changes in life.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And the song definitely goes back and forth because it's like cut your
I was
ties,
just-
believe
yeah.
your lies. But then it's like you have changed my mind. Change isn't so bad. I don't know. It's a very I feel
Yeah,
like it's
I-
an internal struggle almost.
Yeah.
Like
Going back and forth.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's I was literally just about to say like that exact thing. It's kind of a tough one because you don't want to let someone change you at
Right.
all, but sometimes it is automatic when you're
Mhm.
with someone because you start adapting to their personality, their lifestyle, and that's not a bad thing. That doesn't that's human nature. You
Yeah.
adapt to the people that are around you and that you're with. But yeah, it's kind of realizing that sometimes the change is good, but if you're changing for another person specifically just to be with them or appease them, that's not necessarily good for you in the long run
Mm.
because, you're not changing for yourself. But yeah, it's a very deep song. I don't think I've thought about it this deep
I know.
before. Like I have my own meaning with it.
Yeah.
And like that's deep in itself, but like this is like, ooh, it's a little different. I'm like, shit. He's
Mm.
kind of that's the thing with his music though. It like opens up everything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it can have so many different meanings. And yeah, it's really cool to think about that. But I'm like, well, I'm like kind of like stunned in a way. I'm like, wow, it's a lot deeper than I imagined.
Yeah.
Like,
And that's probably like his dream come true because he's talked about how music was such a big part of his life and how certain albums, like you said, got him
Yeah.
through breakups, got him through tough times he grew up with. So
Yeah.
now that like everybody else can almost take away something different from what they interpret, the song to be about. So they could be like, oh, well, this is a happy song. Someone could be like, no, it's not. Or someone's like, oh, no, it's about, change and going back and forth. I think he wants that kind of emotional response. It can be any negative, positive, as long as there's an emotion behind it. So this is really a dream come true that he has people literally going like, shit, like, man, okay, you were going through it probably writing that,
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just like that. It's probably like, not that he needs the validation, but it's probably like validating for him to be like, oh, like people do relate to my music and can relate to this song. I think it would be very, kind of like fulfilling in a way to go like, oh, it's really cool that people can relate to that, even though it was about a very personal moment.
Yeah,
exactly.
So, I know he's definitely like very grateful for the connections people have with music. Like, he made that very clear when he was on stage. Like, and I think, it's really cool to be able to connect with an artist over music and your favorite songs of theirs, because it has that little personable moment, which is really cool.
Yeah. All right. So do you want to talk about the other song that we're going to do?
Yes.
All right. So we are going to shift gears and we're going to talk about Keep Your Head Up, right?
Yes.
Which is not from any album. It was just a standalone single released in 2020.